Згадай мене мила, тяжкую пригоду.
The music of Ukraine. Let's talk to Joseph Lindsley in Ukraine this morning. And Joseph, good afternoon to you there. And what are we listening to?
Bob, good afternoon from the Carpathian Mountains. This is the music of the band Perig I Bratig, which means something like dumpling and whip. And it's a band from Lviv, very much in the style of Carpathian mountain music. Lviv's a little bit of the influence of klezmer music from Lviv, and this is a folk song that these modern musicians have adapted and made their own. And over the weekend here, I'm speaking to you right now from on a beautiful sunny day in the green mountains of the Carpathians. There's a white dog called Vilka at my feet, kind of a lazy summer or spring afternoon here, and over the weekend, as I told you all on Friday, we had a gathering here at the mountain on a mountaintop called Carpathian Spring, and this band played for everyone on Saturday evening here on this sort of it's kind of the top of the mountain overlooking all you can see are rows and rows of these green mountains, and the band took the stage at about 11:30, which is highly unusual in time of war because usually you have a curfew. But here in the mountains, there's a freedom. You know, you are sort of protected in these hills. And they, Perig and Bratig, the band, they played songs of murdered poets, Ukrainians who were killed during the Soviet times, during the Nazis' invasion in the 20th century. And so just imagine, though, as I was listening to those songs, and everyone that was gathered here at this retreat. Were volunteers who were doing so much to help the victory effort. People that get cars to soldiers, they get drones to the army, they get food to refugees and to the front line guys in the trenches. So many of them had gathered here at this retreat, and people were dancing to this music. And just to imagine that, you know, a Ukrainian poet from 100 years ago who was killed, say by the KGB because of his free speech. To know that, you know, here in 2023, in this fight for Ukraine's existence, those words resonated and gave people joy as they danced here on the side of the mountain. And it's and so it really, and this was, as I described to you, to reach this place, you have to go up 300 steps, which I probably climbed a dozen times in the past 3 days. And it's both, it helps you keep fit, but it's also a sign that you're stepping away into sort of a sanctuary. And as everyone was leaving this morning, most people have left and going back to do their work, to work for victory. And it's a very busy day with a lot of things going on. There were a lot of airstrikes last night by the Russians on Dnipro and Zaporizhia. There's a lot of activity in Kharkiv, which I'll tell you in a moment. But everyone sort of left this with some energy. And there was a Ukrainian woman I was speaking with here. Her mission in the war, you know, everyone finds how they can fit into the cause of victory. And her mission has been to reach, she's an intellectual, and to reach intellectuals, at MIT or in the UK at Oxford who are skeptical of supporting Ukraine, and to explain to them, what this fight for freedom is. And as we were listening and dancing to that music, which we started the show with here, the segment with, she said, this is. Again, it might look sort of incongruous to have people dancing in a time of war, but she said to me, when there's a lot of pain, I want to make sure I get this quote exactly right. Sorry, I had to look it up. If you do not have a lot of love, you will not get through the pain, and so you need to have a lot of love. And it's these moments so imagine all these people coming together, at midnight under the stars, the brilliant stars, while indeed there were air alarms through much of the country and attacks were happening. And these people came together and danced and built something beautiful with a lot of love so that they can have energy to go back and fight. And at that event here, there were two friends who they had come to the mountains to bring cats from Bakhmut, cats they had rescued, and they were delivering to some families here in the mountains. And they happened to be in the area. We invited them up to this mountaintop gathering, and they both said this was the first time they had a real rest in the war. And I think not only here, but from everything I hear around the country, there's been a heaviness, through the winter, but as the spring sort of blossoms here, there's a new freshness and a fierceness, and we're seeing, there's a lot of activity happening, a lot of rumors going around. We had at the G7 summit over the past few days was, I think, very intentionally, when it was hosted by the Japanese, was at Hiroshima, which is sort of astounding, because everyone is thinking of, Russia's biggest threat is the nuclear card, and world leaders, including President Zelensky, gathered in Hiroshima. President Biden, and everyone here is very excited about this news, but President Biden said that the United States will not send F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine, but United States will permit nations that have American F-16s to send those to Ukraine. And so because it's United States technology, it required Washington's permission for other countries like Scandinavian countries or Slovakia to send those jets to Ukraine. And now we have President Biden's permission for that to happen. And so people are very happy about that. And then there's been, while through the night, the Russians intensely attacked the city of Dnipro and Zaporizhia, and some attacks in Kharkiv. Right across the border from Kharkiv is a Russian city called Belgorod, and it's it's hard to know exactly what's going on there, but there was an air raid alarm in Belgorod today. There are allegedly some Russian dissidents who are sending people, Russian citizens in that city, messages telling them to evacuate. There have been explosions in that city, and there are videos circulating of the border between Ukraine and Belgorod, a place I've been very close to several months ago. And there are all I can say now, there are strange doings happening in there. Ukrainians, when they speak of this area of Belgorod, they call it the Belgorod People's Republic, because there is a hope that there could be some kind of resistance there, and that people would want to break away from Russia. That has from that city, so many of the attacks have been launched upon Kharkiv, and so the best I can say now is again, I think the best words I could think of would be a fresh fierceness here, which I felt deeply this weekend, but I hear it all around the country in Ukraine. I also just moments ago I told you on Friday the story of the foreign warriors who were wounded in that battle outside of Bakhmut. It seems that most of Bakhmut has fallen, but the Ukrainians are pushing on the flanks of the city. And Goody, the soldier from the UK, is in good spirits. And as another sign of Ukrainian cooperation, even while I was here in the mountains, I called friends in the city where his hospital is. And there have been Ukrainians bringing these foreign soldiers food and medicine and company every single day. And so we see this amazing togetherness. And as I think it could very well, every week is very eventful here, but there's a sense of instead of something wicked, perhaps something good building right now.
I hope. Well, Joseph, you paint quite a peaceful picture there from the mountaintop. I hope you get some more R&R. You all need it there. And then tomorrow, I want to ask you about this spring offensive we keep hearing about, and we'll get to that Tuesday morning. So enjoy your rest while you can.
Thank you, Bob. Until tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you for introducing Ukraine on your social media pages. That's very important that much more people can get more information about the situation here and how everybody can help Ukraine to stay stronger and to save all the world.
Что он сказал?
Well, which side are you on?
На чьей ты стороне?
Come on now. Oh, which side are you on?
На чьей ты стороне?